Good morning. Happy Friday to you. My name is Lisa Boscas. I'm a coach for mindset success, here with you to move forward in living into the best versions of ourselves possible. Congratulations. You've made it through the entire week. It is good to feel like we're on this side of the week, isn't it? Just ready to start the weekend and just sit back and enjoy what life brings to us, right? Hey Joe, good morning to you. I hope you've had a good week this week. So I'm curious to know, as we get started and as people are joining us today, what book are you currently reading? Something I haven't heard about, something that you're learning from a book. Good morning, Chris. Good to see you. Are you reading a book? You have anything good on your to-read list, maybe? Something that you're learning. That's what I'm looking forward to hearing about today. Because the whole thought process behind my live today was kind of spurred on by a post that talked about judging a book by its cover. And I know I'm guilty. I've definitely judged books by their cover. My favorite book that I've judged by its cover is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And for me, just the title in itself just really turned me off. But through the encouragement of people around me, I did end up reading it. And actually, I fell in love with it because it's full of all kinds of great gems of wisdom and advice. And I love to teach that book now. But recently, I heard about a book called, I have to get this right, The Art of, no, it's not The Art of War because it's a play on those words. It's The War of Art. So that's one that's on my list now, The War of Art. So what's on your list of books that you're looking forward to reading? So as I continue to read on about this book and judging a book by its cover, I came across another saying in there that said, just one bad chapter doesn't mean your life is over. I thought, yes, that is so it, because I love to talk about us being the authors of our own book, right? We are each writing a story, whether it's in a physical format or if we are simply writing it by our actions day to day. Not everybody's going to become an author that's placed in a library. That's fine. But each day we make choices, and those choices make up the story of our lives that eventually become the legacy that's meant to be. Now, as I read through the posts on this, or the comments on this post, I saw a lot of negativity. Well, it's these negative experiences that build into the rest of your life, or, well, unless it's the last chapter of your life. Well, that's not it, right? It's what we do with our life as we're writing the story. And that's the beauty of this. Good morning, Susan. Hope you're doing well. If you're reading a book, or you have a book on your to-read list, I'm curious to know what it is and what you're learning or hoping to learn. So we're talking about the chapters in the book that we are writing as individuals and the way we live our life. And the statement, just one bad chapter doesn't mean it's over, really got me thinking, what happens when we get into that really tough spot? Because inevitably in life, we'll get stuck in a rut, we'll get kicked out of the groove, and we might end up feeling like a little bit of a broken record, not quite sure how to move forward. So what do? I have a few steps for you this morning. Questions as well. I'm famous for those questions. The first one is, what does your vision look like? Do you have a macro or a micro vision? So micro vision is that narrow focus that we tend to have when we especially find ourselves in the midst of difficulties and trials and those things that really challenge us in life. We end up with this macro vision because we're just surrounded by that problem. So then as we step back, we begin to get that fuller 360 view like we've been talking about this week. And eventually we can have a macro vision. Now, I actually looked up the word macro, and I really loved the definition of it because it said that it was a single instruction that continues to expand and expand and expand. So as we step back outside of where we're at, we end up with this macro vision of what life could be. So take that time to step back, look at life when you're in that rut from a new perspective. Take the time to reflect and look at it objectively so that you can have a fresh new perspective. Sometimes that requires talking to other people about it as well, right? We've been chatting about that this week. But allow your mind to wander. What could be? As this situation begins to unfold, what positive aspects can unfold from within it, okay? And as you're going through this process, the second thing you want to do is to write. I can't emphasize this enough, how important writing is. Now, like I said, I realize you may not be an author, and maybe simple bullet points are what causes you to stay on track. But writing is so valuable because when we write things down, that's what makes them real to us. And as we write things down, we're also taking into consideration what is most important to us. Because writing takes so long, especially when you're doing it longhand. Writing takes so long. We don't want to write down every single little minute detail. We stick with the big concepts that are important to us, especially in a situation like this. So one of the approaches that I like when dealing with these rut type situations and getting unstuck, if you will, getting back in the groove of things, I like to take a SWOT approach. Okay, what are the strengths and weaknesses here? What are the opportunities and what are the threats? So that's SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So for each story that we tell ourselves, which is what's behind each problem or trial that we're facing, each story that we're facing, they all have strengths and weaknesses. And as we deal with them, we too have strengths and weaknesses. So we need to take a look at those strengths and weaknesses. But each time, we have an opportunity to move forward. We have an opportunity to build into ourselves, to help ourselves become a better person. We have an opportunity to be an example for other people, to be an encouragement to other people, to be the light that shines for other people as well. And yet, at the same time, we can't gloss everything over. We need to be aware that sometimes other things come up, the unexpected happens, and that's where the threat portion of this comes in. So we're creating a new plan in order to move forward, but we need to be realistic and see if there might be something that we can foreshadow, or not foreshadow, but foresee in the future so that we can be more prepared for that as well. Good morning, Luke. Good to see you here too. And then as we're going through this, realize that we need to allow others to come in. Because as we write a story, we can't be the only hero in the book. We need to have others alongside of us. We need to have those supporting roles that help us come up out of that darkness, come up and rise so that we can shine bright, right? So as we carefully share with other people, our lives we're able to reshape our lives into what we truly see is the vision for our future. We're allowing other people in, even though sometimes that's really hard to be able to do that, to be able to share. We need to let other people come in, come alongside of us, lead us, support us when we're feeling weak or just really need that encouragement to keep going. Good morning, Melanie. Good to see you here this morning, too. We're talking about getting up out of our rut. And we've talked about a bad chapter doesn't mean life is over. And we're moving out of our micro vision into a macro vision, writing down our perspectives, and taking a vision for our future and adding other people into that mix. The next most important thing, and this is the final thing that I'm going to be talking about this morning, is taking action. Because if we don't take action on the words of encouragement that other people have offered us, or the help that they've offered us, if we wait until we feel like we're 100% prepared, we may never be prepared. And we don't want that rut really to be the last chapter of our life. We want that story that we're writing to really come into focus, to really begin to blossom and grow into something beautiful. And we do that by taking action. We move forward in the things that we are called to do. So what is it that you need to move forward on? Whether you're feeling like you're stuck in this deep rut or groove, or if it's just a little bump in the road that we just need to move forward on. We're all moving forward. So what is it that you're moving forward on? How can you take action of writing the steps down to have a good perspective of where we're at currently and where we're going? Who can you surround yourself by? And what actions can you take today, starting today, yes, to move forward to becoming that person that you want to be, to making that dream a plan and a reality. So I would love to hear more about where you guys are at, what you're doing, what you're working with, and what books you're reading, okay? What book is it that you're reading or looking forward to reading? What are you learning, or what do you hope to learn from that book? That's all I have for today. I will be back with you tomorrow. I don't give a timeout on the weekends, because the weekends tend to be a little bit fun and spontaneous. So that's what I'll be looking forward to. So I'll post before I go live so you can kind of get a heads up on that. But until then, be blessed, be a blessing to others, and have a fantastic day. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining me.